School wasn't really my thing, so I would basically find any excuse not to be at school.
8th grade was my hardest year, I would say, because I started, like, there was just a lot of family issues still, and I started dealing a lot with depression.
I became a mom when I was in 7th grade to a little boy named Anthony.
My dad left the house at 3 years old for me, and he basically told my mom that it wasn't his job or whatever.
I didn't try out my grades, I didn't try out a social life, I really didn't try, period.
It's been a hard journey, because I honestly, a lot of people doubted me, so I've never expected to get this far.
I could hear like the tardy bells go off. So if I heard the first bell go off, I just would stay in bed and sleep. My
life literally consists of school and work, and like when I have free time, I take care of my son.
You don't have enough credits to graduate or walk with your friends.
My attitude towards people, just the way I dressed, the way I looked, it really wasn't that good.
I decided to drop out.
Before 2nd period, I think it was, I was supposed to check in with Miss Jensen. At the time, she was my English teacher.
Stephanie was somebody who I feel like I saw immediately had a lot of potential.
So I would check in with her every day, and at first I thought it was pointless. I wouldn't go sometimes.
But also on the other end of that could have been somebody who didn't tap into that potential.
And I just started crying, and then she was there because I didn't want to talk to any of my friends. I knew they wouldn't get it, so I just started talking to her about the problems and stuff and what was going on. And she just sat me down and said, "You're very smart, you're very talented, you have potential to keep on going."
I sat down with her and said, hey, like, you have a lot of stuff to offer. You should, use your powers for good.
I didn't have like opinions like from people my age, because I don't think that really counts, but I had someone who's already established their education, established their job, and established their life, and that was like the insight that I think I really needed.
From that moment on, she sort of changed. She started taking on more of a leadership role and really taking pride in what she was doing.
I would say it was really inspiring. It was just, I think I would even go to the lengths of saying it really was life-changing, because it basically really was.
I didn't feel good with myself because I felt unfinished basically.
He just kind of had a tough year.
My friend Alyssa Almond, she got the opportunity to intern at Vista Peak.
And so he would come out with Alyssa, and I'd always talk to AJ, and I'd always say, AJ, you need to be in school.
There was no pause. He just told me, you need to be back in school.
And I was just joking, and I said, well, I guess you can come here.
I didn't really think much about it. I thought he was playing. I didn't take him seriously when he thought of bringing me to Vista Peak.
All right, let's do it. So then I talked to Mr. Rosa, and Mr. Rosa said, you know what? If you feel like this kid should be here, he said, I'm just trusting you. He said, he's your responsibility, and he can come.
I had no clue how I was gonna get to Vista Peak from Gateway, because that's where I lived.
So what we did was we brought AJ into our home, and he fit in perfect.
And all I remember was getting a text saying, I'm gonna pick you up soon, get ready, pack your bag for a week of school, and I'll be at your house in about 30 minutes.
And I felt like it was a good move for me to come to Vista Peak, but I also felt like there was a group of kids I was letting down. And AJ was one of those kids.
Mr. Richard was, he was the father figure.
I'm bringing my other children to school, so just to add one more,
Mr. Richard basically opened his house to me. He let me live at his house the entire year, the whole school year.
I was like, you know what? I just felt like it was the right thing to do.
And it was kind of shocking, because I didn't expect it to be real.
She helped my uncle graduate. Like, he was like, all his friends dropped out, and he was like about to drop out. He was so behind on credits.
He was a student that once we engaged him and let him know that it was possible and that he was worth it and valuable and that he had the tools that he needed, he just really flourished and he really took off.
And like, she would always inspire him, like, Edgar, you have to go, you have to do it, like, please, like, do this paper, like.
And I got to read his name at graduation, and that was one of my favorite names to read. And there were the tears. I had to take a minute and take a breath.
I can't wait to say your name, because she's like the person that names them when they graduate. She's like, I can't wait to say your name when you're passing that stage. And he graduated like he was a really big motivation to her.
And then Wendy came to me, and I had remembered her from coming to Edgar's parent-teacher conferences. She was very, supportive in that process and helped interpret.
See, Edgar did it, like, you can do it, like, you're a mom. Like, she didn't know I had a baby, and like, when I told her, she didn't even believe me. She's like, no way, like, you're lying to me, he's your brother. And I was like, no, like, I'm so serious.
And I soon found out that she was a teen parent, and that, that she had a special story as well.
And she's like, I know you can do it. Like, Edgar was the first one to graduate. Like, you will be the first one to go to college. Like, she's just been she's like a loving person. Like, she helps everybody out.
I would say that I would give her all the credit, because she's the one that had to do it. She's the one that had to make different kinds of choices than she saw her peers making, and be a little more responsible. She had to grow up faster.
Like, my grades are good. Like, I'm doing good in school. I'm still in high school, which is a good thing, because a lot of moms just drop out.
And I think that it's really important that kids and adults understand that they are in charge of their narrative, and they get to decide what that looks like. And when you find a strength, and you build on that, I think that's where people will thrive.
I applied to Metro first and UNC.
And so now we're at the point where the diploma is done. But now what we want to do is try and get to the next level.
I got admitted to both. Yeah.
So now let's take advantage of the next step. Let's do some college courses. Let's work on leadership skills.
I just might apply to CSU, Fort Collins, and just see where it takes me. But I'll probably go to CCA.
Maybe start taking an EMT program or a paramedic program for 2 to 4 years. And hopefully from there, just actually start working in a hospital.
I want to be a neonatal nurse.
Honestly, just because of Mr. Richard, I'd love to be a music teacher, a vocal music teacher.
She never gave up. She just kept going. And
so that's what I want to be, and that's what I am going to be.
It's going to be a struggle, especially during adolescence. That is one of the hardest parts, really. But just keep trying and try to find that person who will be there for you.
I don't know, it's kind of crazy to think that one thing that I said that I feel like I, do with a lot of students, had that kind of impact on her.
Most students won't really reach out because they don't like asking for help. They're too scared. They're not trusting enough. And I think just having that and knowing that there will be someone there regardless, not to judge them or anything, but just to listen would be really good.
Really, it was about meeting them where they're at and moving them, and celebrating the assets that they have.
But I've proved them wrong, because I'm graduating in May and I'm already accepted to college, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for us.
There's gonna be a point where you'll just look back and be like, well, I made it past that and I'm proud.
If I ever had a thought in my mind that maybe what I'm doing doesn't matter to that kid, I feel like that's gone now. So.
You matter. You matter to me. To me. To me. You matter to me. To me.
You matter to me.
You matter to me, Mr. Richard.
You matter to us.
Shed some skin. Clouds are shrouding us in moments unforgettable. You twist to fit the mold that I'm in. But things just get so crazy, and life gets hard to do. And I would gladly hit the road, get up and go if I knew that someday lead me back to you. That someday it will lead me back to you. That may be all I need. In darkness she is all I see. Come and rest your bones with me. Drive it slow on Sunday morning. I never want to leave.